Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday, August 16, 2023. We got the Pocket Change Market Report coming at you again. Hope everyone's doing well, and I hope you guys are finding your treasures out there in the wild today. So we're going to be taking a look at the last 24 to 48 hours of eBay activity on all of your favorite errors and varieties. We have a power-packed list for you here today. I haven't done one quite this long in a while, and then now we're back to it. The kiddies are starting to head back to school, and the parents are back out hunting for some of these premier coins. We have a lot of coins we also haven't talked about on a PCMR, so this is really exciting, and now that I have the opportunity to, you guys are going to be equally excited. All right, so same of the thing. Some of the same things apply. A lot of the finds that you are going to look at today in this video were all discovered out in the world today, whether that's going through coin rolls from the bank, whether you're going through your kiddie's piggy bank, but also, let's not forget, going to the coin show and coin shops. And cherry picking your local dealer is also another way of finding some of these coins. Again, reselling, there's nothing bad to it, but at the same token, you could add something really cool to your collection. A few standard ground rules apply, like we do on a lot of these videos, is that we don't talk about graded coins. I encourage you guys not to grade anything if your main sole motivation is to resell it. You're going to find that a lot of these coins speak for themselves and they sell for themselves. As long as you accurately describe the coin, it's correctly attributed, then you're going to be in good shape. All right. And finally, all of the photos you see here today are original to the respective sellers' listings. Okay, we didn't juice or doctor anything to make them look better, except maybe crop them so we could fit them on an actual spreadsheet. Or the PowerPoint deck that you're going to see here today. So yeah, really great list. And I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the PCMR. A lot of great stuff. All right. So one thing that I will say is we are back here at home base with another Whatnot auction. We are going through the month of August, the Hot August Nights coin auction coming at you here this Friday, August 18th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 8 p.m. Eastern, come join your boy Blue Ridge as we offer some phenomenal coins across all budget ranges. All right, this is going to be a blast. It's great to be back home doing this. And just to let you guys know, the benefit auction is not going to be this Friday. It's going to be a week from this Friday, and we're going to dedicate an entire show to the cause to help out my friend Nathan, who lost his home and his business. He's a fine artist in Lahaina Town and on the island of Maui, and I want to help him out in some way. All right, so I'll put up the items up for auction, and hopefully we wrangle in some money to help a brother out. All right, a fellow man, and. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Come join us. If it's your first time joining the platform, Whatnot, this puppy's growing and getting bigger every single week. I have my referral links down below in the description box, and I'll have it also pinned in the comments section of the video. Go ahead and sign up under my referral link. Grab yourself $15 in store credit. We have some coins that you could buy right out of the Buy It Now shop on my channel on Whatnot, and the coin is free. And it's some of the most epic pieces that I've ever placed on there. I can't believe I'm selling them for so cheap. So go check them out. Claim your $15. Get yourself something free. Worst that could happen, you pay a few bucks on shipping. And hopefully I see you guys there. All right. Let's go ahead and do this thing here. We have a pretty stacked list. We're going to start things off here with a 1972D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one has a cut die break right here at the base of Lincoln's bust. A very common area for these. And, it's just a weak point on the die. Cuds are created when a piece of the die had fractured at some point, just due to general wear and tear, and the piece of die had fallen out. So it creates an empty cavity right in the die. And when it strikes more coins, as long as the die isn't put out of service, by a Mint employee, they will continuously crank out coins. All the metal flow will go into that empty cavity, creating a raised blob somewhere on the coin that, of course, starts at the rim's edge and it goes into the design. And that's, by definition, what a cud or a die break is on these. Coin is in pretty decent shape. It's circulated. It's been through many hands. And not a lot of people know that there's value here, but there is. These are the kings of the error world currently. The prices are very strong all the time. This one sold for $39.88 with 10 total bids. Outstanding sale here. All right, so we did see a couple of these pop up, and they're not all that rare. All right, if you have an abundance of some of these lower grade Morgan dollars, 1900 is a very common date. All right. So there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't, take a second look at every single 1900 New Orleans coin, because you might find one that is an over mint mark. This is the O over CC variety. The seller claims that this one is a extremely fine example. It's quite a ways off from that. This is more like a fine 12 coin right here, which is polarizingly different in value, but nonetheless, this is a really popular VAM variety. When we look up close, this one is going to have what I call the fang teeth coming out of the right side of the O, which is part of one of the C's in the Carson City Mint Mark. On much nicer condition and earlier die states, you'll actually be able to see the CC right there underneath the O mint mark. Really cool variety. This one ended up selling for $149.95. It was scooped up quick as a buy it now listing, but again, I'm going to just let you know that grade that was estimated, not only on the 2x2 flip, but also the listing title, it's way off. All right. Next one that we have here, and we have actually a pretty decent sized amount of currency this week. We have a 2013 $1 bill. This is probably, bar none, one of the most minor errors that you will come across. But if you look here on the top right serial number, you're going to notice that the last digit right here is slightly tilted up. They call this a gas pump or odometer type of error. And real simple, that number wheel is slightly turned a little bit. This is, again, nothing too crazy. You could go through, like, say, $100 face value in $1 bills and probably find like 5 or 10 of these. They're that common. But just realize that this one did sell for $5.52. And there's been quite a few of these that have been selling in that $5, $6 range. So this is essentially a $5 bill for every one that you do find. And please do put it up on eBay if you want to resell these as buy it nows. Do not post these as general auctions. You'll be lucky to get $2 out of them. There's gonna be collectors and buyers that come across and see these, and then they'll just scoop it up at $5, $6, $7, which is a very affordable price to them. There's a little bit of the back of the note showing general circulation wear on this one. Again, nothing too crazy grade-wise. We have a 1970D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one is off-center by about 65-70%. It's very attractive, has a full readable date and mint mark, and that's what really matters to collectors who do date collections of off-center strikes. They want that full date and mint mark, and because of that, these coins generally sell for a lot more money on the secondary market. Now, someone swiped this one at a big bargain price because this is one of those dates that normally sells in that $25 to $30 range. This one ended up selling for only $15.49 with 7 bids. This was an overnight deal. Again, do not finish your auctions at some weird hour in the night because nobody's going to be awake. All right. And if it's considered to be an inconsequential type of error because there are others that exist on eBay of the same date, then they're going to skip over that. They're not going to wake up at 4 a.m. to put a bid in on this, So keep that in mind. Make sure you're wrapping up your auctions at a decent hour, like 5, 6 o'clock at night. Doesn't matter if you're on the East Coast or West Coast. Ooh, so Cuds are strong, and this one has multiple things going on with it. It's a 1982 P Jefferson nickel, so you can see the Cud right there, right above Jefferson's head. But if you look close enough, especially on the reverse, this one has some pretty phenomenal die clashing as well. So it's a dual error, very, very attractive, even though it's circulated, that's pretty easy to see. This one ended up selling for $52 with 17 bits. Whereas a coin with just a Cud, these are quite common with that specific Cud right there. They sell for about 30, 40 bucks. So it did get a little price bump because of the die clashing. And it's always good to find stuff like this. Really neat find. Not the type of date that you see come across too much in the auction world, but we do have a 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent, all centered by about 20-25%. Full readable date. This is a staple in any off-center strike collection date set. This one ended up selling for $19.28 with 23 bids. We also have another Cud here. This one quite a bit smaller, and it's in a spot that a lot of people do overlook. This time in 1985 Philadelphia. Not the best photos. The reverse photo is a little bit cut off. It wasn't a full complete picture, although this obverse one looks pretty good. So you see this little Cud. This is in a spot that is, again, quite weak on the die, and this is a common area for these things. And this little pocket right here, this little cove, is also where Felix Schlage's initials are. All right, so which probably contributes to the weakness of the die during the striking process. This particular one right here ended up selling for $26.48 with 2 bids. Again, that's more of the size, that contributed to the lower sale price. But nonetheless, really nice find. Okay, this one's cool. I've actually found a few of these, seeing as how I go through a lot of Wheat Cent bags. This is a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Cent. And then I like the way this is grouped up on the original seller listings. I think it's just very complete, very nice. This one is what they call Retained Cud, or a pre-Cud, or retained die break. It looks like a full-blown Cud, but you could actually see some design struck on the Cud part of it, which means that the piece of die hadn't fallen out completely. Now, even coins in this condition, you should not toss them back, all right? Ugly to one person is going to be a treasure to another. So this one right here sold for quite a nice amount of money, $35.67 with 10 bids. You would be surprised how many retained Cuds get tossed back into Wheat Cent bags because someone just doesn't flip the coin over. All right, and there's going to be a lot of dates in the 40s. The steel cents is a big one because you see retained Cuds on a lot of those. Considering that a lot of the dies were having issues striking up the steel cents during its time, so there was a lot of just wear and tear on those. I believe this is our one and only lot, and it's quite interesting for what it is. It's a 20-piece lot of miscellaneous U.S. Mint error stuff. It's sold for $54.09, and that's with 30 bits. So I just wanted to throw that out there, so that way we could kind of dissect what we have here. And I will say straight up that I think there's some opportunity to possibly double up your money here. We do see a few blank planchets. We have what looks to be maybe a dime and a couple Lincoln cents. We have a couple broad strikes in there. There's a 94 Lincoln and then this dime right here. A few off-center strikes, as you can see. Pretty nice, but they have no readable date. A few straight clips, some of those sheet clips. A few little curved clips in there as well. There's even a Canadian. There's a counter stamp, which these things don't normally have a lot of value. You might be able to squeeze $2 out of that nickel there for that, I guess the cancer ribbon counter stamp. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, these little bow tie scraps right here, which is just webbing. All right, so when the planchets are punched out of the strip, you'll get little bow tie web, scrap pieces like this. That end up in mid-sewn bags, and you can find them. While these things are pretty neat, they don't have a ton of value, maybe $3 to $5 a piece for these smaller sized ones. But pretty cool little lot here. Again, you could possibly double your money. This, of course, is a Waffle canceled coin. So that looks like it could be maybe a nickel that was canceled, just due to some quality control issue. But yeah, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Would this be something that you would buy to resell? Me personally, I would say that's a yes. There's not a whole lot of risk involved with buying something like this because you know what you have. It's all the other lots that have a lot of questionable stuff, that makes you want to kind of pause there. All right, so we just have a 1980D Lincoln Memorial Cent with 2 clips. All right, so we have one there next to the date. It's more raggedy and straight. And then you have a curved clip over by Liberty, so that K9 to K10 area. This particular one sold for $15. So pretty good sale. Again, you would need 2 or 3 clips for these things to be worthwhile selling. Single clips, you might be able to get $5 or $6 out of them. So there's a considerable difference in value there. And our first Woody, we actually have a couple of these on today's show, and I love these things. These are what they call improper alloy mix errors. So the earlier Lincoln cents were predominantly copper, but they did have a trace amount of zinc and tin in them. So with these 3 components mixed together during the process, they don't mix up too well. So, when the strips are laid out, sometimes you'll see these wood grain effects on there. Now you know what they are. And you see them a lot in 1940s Lincolns and 1950s as well. So this particular one right here sold for $12.89, and there's a dedicated collector base of wood grained toned Lincoln cents. And I usually don't talk about coins like this, but we're going to throw it in because why not? It's a 1799 over 8 overdate Draped bust dollar. This thing is amazing. I don't have a Draped bust dollar in my collection. Maybe one day. I gotta find the right one, the right circumstances, and all that. But I would not be opposed to even owning one like this. Obviously, the purist in me wants to keep it raw, but for my everlasting collection, I'd probably want to grade it. Coins and Cards continues to just crank out some pretty amazing pieces. And if you're looking for like a high dollar rarity that's raw, Coins and Cards fails to or never ceases to impress. They don't fail at anything other than being just having all these coins and nothing cheaper. That's where they fail at. They don't have the cheaper coins on here. So this one, $5,100. What's the sale price with 35 bids? I just thought I'd throw a little bit of classic, good old type coins in the mix to break things up. And remember, that's a raw coin. So, that just shows you that you don't need to grade stuff like that. Here is a really nice looking one. This is a brand spanking new 2000p New Hampshire statehood quarter. When I mean brand spanking new, it looks like it was just minted yesterday. It's off center by about 30%. Very wild. You can read the mint mark. You can see the date. You know what state it is. There's no secret here. So state quarter off-center strike coins are hot right now. This particular coin sold for $93.99. Just a real beauty. We also have this 1969B $1 bill with a little bit of a gutter fold right down almost to the middle there. So the sheet had a little bit of a wrinkle in it. And then it was printed over, thereby creating this anomaly. So you could stretch the bill out after it's been printed, and it would be an omission of print, all right, which is why they call it a gutter. And when we look at the reverse of the note, you'll see that there's no gutter there, which means that at some point when the reverse of the note was printed, the wrinkle had stretched out, all right, whether that's by a BEP employee or just naturally, kind of hard to say. This one right here sold for $42.35 with 26 bids. The note is in great shape, and I think that's one of the big contributing factors to its pretty good sale price. Oh boy. Well, we love talking about this one. 1955 Lincoln Wheat Cent. This is, of course, the aforementioned poor man's double to die. This thing has been around since the beginning of this coin's existence, and I figure it's worth a talk. The coin is mid-state, obviously. It looks to be a full red. When we look at close up to the date, you'll see the doubled 5 there, which is simply just die deterioration, and that's how that's created. But this has been given this nickname, the poor man's double die, for the longest time. Fortunately, there's an FS 101 strong double to die that exists for the state, and that's kind of where the tie-in is and the interest for the machine double coins. This one right here is sold for $35. Good gracious. 21 bids. Again, that's all due to condition. People collect these, all right, and they want nice condition coins as well to add to their collection. Here's another Woody, not as great looking, but it's a 1920s, very tough date. And these are collected by date as well. So this one here is sold for $21.95. Not my personal favorite based off of eye appeal because it's very well worn. Nothing too crazy, but heck, you're essentially taking a coin that's worth about 50 cents and turning it into over $20. That's pretty good to me. Wow, these pictures are not very good, but it's indeed a 2023 Lincoln Shield Cent. The Extra V, or VDB V is what they call it. Keep in mind, all of the main third-party graders are grading these as Extra Vs, and that's kind of still where some of the desirability is in these. Now, prices have dropped just in the last few weeks, and I think that's welcomed. I think that's what we want to see here. But there you go. The close-up picture is actually way better than the actual full pictures in the 2x2s. Crazy how that happens, right? But you can see that little V anomaly right next to Victor David Brenner's initials right here at the base of Lincoln's bust. That's what you're looking for. As of right now, these were being found in the state of New York. So it's come to my conclusion that these were released by the New York Fed Reserve Bank. All right. You can find them all over the state, upstate, in the city, wherever. And this one right here sold for $46.25 with 4 bids. The coin is in great looking shape, just based off of the pictures I see. So yeah, we're seeing these things retraced. I did see another one sell for like $60. What I thought was a run up, into the $60-$80 range. Now these things are back down again. And that's a good thing. All right. Because there's still a little bit of information that we don't know about this coin. Is it a mint error? Is it a variety? Some people are dubbing it a variety because the graders are attributing it as such. But I don't know. It's a very interesting anomaly to be sure. Now this one's really cool, man. Someone got really lucky when they found 5 consecutive $2 bills with butterfly folds on the top right corner. Wow. And that's all created, by the way, with a corner fold on every sheet. Man, but that's really cool to find 5 straight ones like that. Here's a much better picture of those little butterfly folds. So the folds were in when they were in the BEP pack, and then when someone went through the BEP pack, they saw these string of $2 bills with the little folded in corners on them. And there you go. That is one heck of a find. Now, pretty nice sale, $293.99 with 16 bids. This is something maybe you buy and then sell each note independently, and it probably, I'm not going to say you'll double your money, but you'll certainly make some here with this one. Very cool. I was actually able to obtain a few of these during the Pittsburgh A&A show, and they're already sold. They're already gone. And then we have one here that popped up on eBay. 1939, FS801, the good old doubled Monticello, or DDR. This is a strong one here. I mean, look at the Monticello and 5 cents. And that's really all you need to know. This is probably one of the top 5 biggest double to dies of the 20th century. Maybe top 10. maybe top 10. So, anyways, this one sold for $56.55 with 6 bids. These are highly liquid across all grades. It doesn't matter if it's a low ball or a high mid-state grade. These things kill it in the market. 1964D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one's off center by about 70%. It's circulated, believe it or not. It's got some wear on there and oxidation and fingerprints all over the place. So, again, it's going to a date set. This one sold for $31.64 with 6 bids. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat. I'm dealing with allergies right now in this middle of the summer, where we don't have any precipitation whatsoever. It's a dry heat right now. Now, this is a rarity. 1999p Georgia Statehood Quarter off center by about 25%, like 20-25%. You don't see this that often, and it's in beautiful shape as well. This one ended up selling for $150 with 22 bids. This is one of the tough ones from 1999. I think the only one that maybe beats it out could be New Jersey, I think. Because I've seen Delaware, I've seen Pennsylvania. I've actually seen quite a few Pennsylvanias. And actually the most common one is Connecticut, with the charter oak on the reverse. So yeah, Georgia is, I think, number 2 on the rarity list for 1999 coins. Beautiful example. Very nice price tag. Here's another one of those 1900 O over CC over mint mark VAM varieties. This one is in better shape than the first one that we looked at earlier in the show. This one I would say is more of a VF 30-35 arena. You have much better feather detail on the wings of the eagle on that reverse there. So in theory, this one should have sold for more, right? Well, this one sold through a regular auction format, whereas the first one sold as a buy it now. So this one sold for $131.50 with 20 bids. A little bit of question as to whether this is clean, because you have all the dirt and gunk kind of ganged up on the edge of the devices, which indicates that it was probably cleaned. So, but anyways, this is a coin that you could find in junk silver for $30-35, and then you flip it for a $100 bill, and you're good to go. Now, we don't see double struck in collar coins that often in modern Lincolns. Now, when I mean modern, I mean the Zinken age of compositions. Here's one right here. Now, the seller said it's a 2001, so we'll go with that. It's kind of like one of those dates where you see a lot of min errors. So, man, this thing is pretty neat. But it's a flip over double struck in collar. All right, so that way you have a full strike on both sides. I love that obverse, by the way. Really cool. This one sold for $255 with 16 bids. Again, it's not graded. So there you go. Case in point, don't need to grade, big time coins like this. And people can identify vice jobs or garage, attempted double strikes, where you press multiple coins together. Those are easy to find out. This one looks pretty good. Doesn't have any damage on the rim, which is a big red flag on these. Well, when someone attempts this using either multiple coins or they create false dies. So, yeah, and this is a Zinken as well. You just don't see that. Oh, wow. Clean looking 2-note set here of $1 bills. This is actually one of my favorites of the week. It's a 1988, so a little bit older here. The front of them looks nice. These things are genuinely uncirculated, crisp notes. Up until we flip it over. Wow, check that out. Nice little insufficient ink on the subject sheet all the way down the right side of that sheet. Yeah, the inkwells ran dry here during the reverse print process. So the notes collectively sold for $122.50 with 6 bids. I don't know, it might just be me, but I could flip these for a $100 bill a piece. I've done that because insufficient inks are really cool, and collectors love them. 1956 D over D RPM. This is the FS501. This is the big one here, folks, and on a very nice grade coin as well. Probably call it like a mid-state 63, 64. It's not the perfect mid-state red example, but by golly, when you have, and even the photos are very out of focus here. So you can see the D over D RPM right there. This is the big one, $60.75 with 16 bids. A very, very nice sale. Here's another great big cud right on the date of this Washington quarter. I believe this one probably came from the 70s, late 70s. So the die broke right there, covering the date. Again, another weak spot on those dies. This one sold for $85.99 with 2 bids. Another cud, this time on 67 Jefferson nickel. This is one that we don't see that often, but the cud is right there in that little alcove area at the base of Jefferson's bust. This one sold for $35.24 with 4 bids. We also have this one of my favorites, 1970 D Washington quarter that was struck on thin dime stock. All right, so they Mint employees inadvertently punched out blanks out of dime thickness strips instead of the regular quarter strips, which are a lot thicker. So you're going to get weakness in the strike. See this above United, here under dollar, top of Liberty, to the left of In God We Trust, and it's sometimes on the date. But the weight is where you want to look for this. This one weighs only 4.2 grams, which is quite a bit underweight. This one sold for $61.95 with 18 bids. Always a favorite. You can find these in 70 Denvers, and I believe 71 Denvers as well. Here's our good old blind batch strike through. This isn't the biggest one you can find, but this one's pretty gnarly. And the coin is very well circulated. 2020 Philadelphia. So these are P-minted coins. This is the big strike through. And you can see the feeder finger scrapes. This is, in a sense, a field restricted strike through is what it's called. That's where the feeder finger continuously makes contact with the die face. And there's normally grease involved, so the feeder finger is also kind of like shoveling back and forth grease. So that way, every single one of these strike throughs are all going to be different sizes and shapes. They're all quite unique. This one sold for $100, so given its condition, I think that's fair. And then finally, the last note that we have, or the last item for this week's PCMR, is another $1 bill, 1977 here. A little bit earlier date, but you can find these in a little bit later dates. Front of the note looks normal. Looks a little miscut there on the right side. But what really matters is that front to back wet ink transfer. All right, they also call this an offset error. So the impression cylinder had a impression of ink due to a omission of a subject sheet during the, print process or one plunge of the plate and impression cylinder. So it left, an impression of the note face or design on the impression cylinder. So when another subject sheet fits in there for a print, it's going to transfer that from the impression cylinder to the note. Or to the sheet, rather. 100% transfer also. This one sold for $110.50 with 24 bids. So, really beautiful piece here. That's going to go ahead and do it. Man, a lot of stuff talked about today, and hopefully this will give you guys some excitement, incentive to go out there and hunt away, whatever you do. More coin shows coming. We got Long Beach. There's a few nice sized regional shows across the country. It's going to be a good opportunity for you guys to go out there and cherry pick. Cherry pick. That's where the fun is. And then, of course, check out your banks. Brand new 2021 banknotes. 1s, 2s, and 5s are currently out there, among other things. But that's it. I'm giving you guys your day back. Thank you for taking your time to join me on this one. Happy hunting, guys, and I'll see you on the next coin video, and hopefully I'll see you this Friday on the Whatnot stream.